Okay, this is part 2 of Vado Lake State Campground. I forgot to mention in part 1, one biggie for a lot of you is your internet service. And I'm not getting any 3G or 4G service out here. You can make phone calls and stuff, but even a lot of my apps aren't working, my radar app and stuff like that. Okay, I was camped down at the end down there. There's 2 little campsites. And this time I'm camped down here. Nice secluded spot, beautiful scenery. There's one vault toilet here and just beautiful views of the canyon. So I'm just getting ready to leave tomorrow morning, so my camp is almost all packed up and I'm hooked up and everything. Going to be pulling out in the morning. These are the views though, they're just beautiful. Beautiful canyon. The sun's just going down, and I wanted to mention that about the internet service, not being able to get it out here at Vado State Park. There's a place I found about a mile outside of the park where you can get 4G service. Anyway, you know, it's primitive camping, no hookups. I did a lot of hiking out here. There's a lot of great hiking. I found an elk skull right there. He apparently got stuck in the mud a long time ago, and I found some of his bones and stuff. But it's really peaceful out here. Like I say, out on this point here, there's only 3 campsites. Oh, you do have to, okay, we are in New Mexico here, and there are rattlesnakes. And the last time I was here, I was down at that campsite, down at that point down there. And I went to pick up my solar panels, and the ones I had on the ground, and I looked underneath, and I didn't see it because I was coming from behind here. There was a rattlesnake under there, all coiled up, about a 3-footer. So my feet got about 2 feet away from him. I picked up the panel, and there he was, and he wasn't moving. So I carefully moved the panel away, and then I got my my trusty broom there, and I kind of coaxed him to go off on his merry way, and he went under a bush. So there are rattlesnakes. They don't seem to be aggressive. Also, we got mountain lions. And I went backpacking a week ago. I went on a remote kind of hike, you know, with the topo map. I was looking for a high point to get some good pictures and stuff. And so I was off trail. I was definitely off the beaten trail. Okay, there's the fire pit, and no campfires, as you can see, in any of the state parks in New Mexico. Anyway, I was about 7/10 of a mile away from my campsite, and I got to the high point where I got some great pictures of the canyon, and I saw something brown running sideways, and I thought it was a deer. There's a lot of deer here, and there's also a lot of elk. Big elk, especially way down the end of the canyon down there. I saw 24 in a herd. But to get back to it, I saw this brown thing running across, and then all of a sudden he made a 90-degree turn, and he came right up. I was at the highest point, And he followed my trail right up, like he was following my scent trail. And this is a mountain lion. And he kept running up and up. And I didn't realize it was a mountain lion until he was about 100 feet away. I don't have the greatest eyesight. And then I'm thinking, well, he's following my trail. That's no good. My scent trail. So I yelled at him as loud as I could, and he saw me at that point because his head was kind of down like a bloodhound. He was really following that trail, and he was following it fast, much faster than a bloodhound, coming straight up the hill, right up to the high point where I was. And I yelled at him a few times, and then he kind of went off on away from me. But it was one of those hairy moments. You're out here in the wild, and these two campgrounds, El Vado and Heron Lake, are really out in the middle of nowhere. They're 10 miles from the nearest, highway, like Route 884. So anything can happen. You just got to be prepared. I always now carry a knife. You're not allowed to carry firearms here. And there's my Bowie. I carry this now. It's a good size Bowie. And I also carry a stick I made, like a hiker's stick, but I made a sharp point on the end of it. And I made it out of hardwood, oak, which is the hardest wood out here, and it's very short. So you might want to carry a hiking stick and a knife. So, I don't want to make anyone get worried, but at the same time, you got to be aware of your surroundings. And, anything goes out in the wild. The mountain lion took, he bared off when I yelled at him a few times. But anyway, this is my part 2. Like I say, I forgot to mention there's no internet service, but it's a beautiful, beautiful campground. And they do have water and a nice shower up in the main part of the campground. This is more remote. This is about a mile or so down a dirt road. It's still part of the state park. And matter of fact, there's a peninsula right across this creek here. This is the Rio Chama River. And you can camp out there too, but I took a drive out there in my Jeep, and it looks a little hairy to get an RV out there. If you're in a van, you could get out there. And that's super remote out there. You have to come in all the way up the river there from Heron Lake, which is Route 95. And you'll get down to the end there of the canyon. You'll see some homes. And then there is a dirt road that comes out on this peninsula. There's actually water on the other side of this peninsula, and then the mountains in the back there. So, okay, that's my part 2 for Vado Lake State Park in New Mexico. Beautiful place. I love it. Been here 2 weeks, and I'm moving on tomorrow. Okay, signing off. This is Eric.